Okay, so now we're going to continue on with a very nice step, which was a very basic step that Antonio Todaro taught to all of his students. And it's what was called the Blindajes, or the blinds. Now you might say, why exactly is this step called blinds, or Blindajes? But you're going to see that there's a movement that's like this, that it's almost like the blinds, when you close them, they close this way, okay? There are two options that we're going to give you here, which was always the way that Antonio taught it. But first we're going to start with a very simple way, which is simply walking, doing the change of front. We're going to show it to you from this diagonal angle here so that you'll be able to see it. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking 2 steps backward with the woman. The first step is directly in line with the woman, and the second step is a little bit outside of her, on the side of her, okay? So from here, I'm going to lead the woman back, and here I step a little bit on the outside of her, making sure that we have a good contact with the hip here. Now what's going to happen with our right legs is they're simply going to just caress our own leg, slowly going up. We're going to come down again, step forward, side where we need to open a little bit, so I need to not be holding the woman too tight. I need to relax the arms here. This is the part of the blinds where they open. Now here I need to lead the woman a little bit backwards. So I'm going to step on the other side of the woman, and we caress our leg coming up. We step forward, side once again, the blinds, and we step back, and here we just do a small little movement on the floor. We step forward in 6, 7, and 8. Very good. So as we explained before, Antonio always gave 2 options for this step. The first one you saw, which was the very simple way, which was the cambio de frente, or the change of front, walking through it. He also had a very nice, very, you could say, vistoso, very interesting step that he did that's very good for exhibitions, which is a change of front but jumping with un salto, a little tiny jump, okay? It's basically exactly the same idea, except the only thing that changes is instead of doing the blinds on the floor, we do them in the air, but very small. It's a very small jump. Basically from here we repeat the same. 1, 2, 3. And up, 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 and up, 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 and then 6, 7, and 8. Basically the position that we need to have here, we're this way. We're going to step forward a little bit down with the knee relaxed. We're going to pop up, up, here, down, up, and this way. It's very important that the action of the legs is this, boom, boom. So not open, but closed, this way, tuck, tuck. The idea is from here, we brush the knees, come through, brush once again, and we come through, okay? Why don't we see here with Cecilia? We'll demonstrate it from this angle so that you get to see exactly the coordination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then we close. Okay, so now we've discussed the man's role in the Blindajes for the 2 different versions. Now we're going to talk about the follower's role, which basically is a mirror image of what the man is doing. It's just we're going to give you a few little more points, some more details so that you can really do this step very well. Okay? So basically here, one thing that we should mention that's very important is the woman, of course, will be doing the same step as the man. She's going to step back, back, and you notice that she comes along her leg and comes up. When she comes down here, there's a small pivot. You notice the small pivot on her right leg, which is very important. Now she's also going to have to do a small pivot, almost like a back ocho, when she comes with her left leg. And then here once again, of course, she repeats coming up. Here she steps, a pivot on the left leg to open to the side step, and then a pivot on the right leg once again. She comes this way, and then steps forward, side, and close. Why don't we see the way that Cecilia does that by herself here, and so we're going to make sure of all the details. So she steps 1, 2, and slowly caressing the leg. Here we have the pivot, open side step. She steps back with the pivot, caresses her leg coming up, coming down, forward, pivot, side, pivot, back. She crosses the leg with a little tap, and steps 6, 7, and 8. Now, in the jump, it's going to be it's a similar idea, except the pivots would be in the air. So the idea that we have here is 1, 2, 3, plie, up, up, cross, plie, up, cross, and 6, 7, and 8. Cecilia, why don't we look at exactly the positions of the legs of how they're going to be? See? So from here, exactly, y tac tac. You notice that she tries as well as she can to keep the legs going in one line. It's like scissors, tuk tuk. See? Tac tac. So that's very important there. See? Okay, so we've just gone through all of the details for the men's and the women's part of the blindajes with the two different options, walking through it and also going through the air with the little saltito, the jump. So now we're going to show you both of the versions, first in slow motion and then in the more real time, the speed that you're going to be using in the dancing. We'll show you first at those speeds the step that's done just on the floor, and then we'll show it to you with a little jump, okay? So why don't we start directly from here. We'll show it to you from this front here so that you get to see it. 1, 2, 3. And here we close. Now we're going to repeat one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1 and 2. Okay? Now why don't we look at the way that we do it with the jump. And we're going to start a little bit more forward here. And we're going to put a little pop into it. 1, 2, 3. Bum, ba-dum. And bum, bum, bum. And bum, bum,